Okay. The advice I'm going to give you is based on the shortest way to get to something that is sustainable. Okay. The reason why I say that is because when I help people, I don't focus on trying to get a sync placement because what you've probably experienced now is that a sync placement is just that. It's a placement. You wait for your money to come in. Hopefully, people search your song, but they might not. Right. So it's not like it changes your life to get a sync placement. What changes your life is that have sustainability in a market, which many people are attempting to do, but very few actually can.
Okay.
That's where I try to help people in general. Okay.
Okay.
So let's hop right in. How can I help you today?
Yeah, so I'm so excited to talk to you. I don't even know where to start. I have been placed before. Licensing is something I have been interested in forever. I took
Okay.
a course that was not very helpful back in 2019,
Okay.
but I met my producer.
Okay.
It's been a dream working with him, and I've had songs with him that have been placed. That being
Great.
said,
Awesome.
that was in 2020. And
Okay.
since I've had like a couple of features and documentaries, it's all been word of mouth.
Okay.
So I've had a crazy life story that would take longer than a half hour to go through, but basically the last several years I haven't been pursuing much of anything in my life for one reason or another.
Okay.
And I am all in. Like I'm here. I am ready. And I know that submitting to various agencies is a way to move forward for sure.
Okay.
I love the idea of being able to write for agencies exclusively, to have them come to me with a
Okay.
song that I don't already have in my catalog. I don't know the process of getting signed. Is it called getting signed?
Are
Like
you talking
getting
about the sync
signed?
agencies? Are you talking about to be like a
Yeah.
on the roster?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
Makes
So
sense.
that's kind of my big thing is like, I'm here, I'm ready. Let's go.
All
What's
right.
next?
Okay. Can you put a link to any music I can listen to?
Cool. Okay, then let's do Thrivers. I would say that's the one.
Okay.
You told me I'd always be a loser. You told me I'd always have to fall. You told me I'd always play the victim. Sorry, not sorry, cause you were wrong. You told her she'd always been dramatic. You told him he'd always lose the game. You told us we were not survivors. Guess what? We thrive today. We are invincible. So send us your worst. We're shouting from the rooftops, saying, "Watch me go." We're standing up, ready to explode. And when the time stops, jump into unknown. We're standing up, we're ready to show. We are the thrivers of the world. Let's go. Whoa, whoa, we are thrivers. Whoa, whoa, we are thrivers. I
Cool.
told you I'd always been a dream.
And is that one that has already landed, or is that one that you're working on?
That's one that's been placed. Yeah.
Okay. Was that placed in the documentary you're talking about, or in a?
That was placed in a Kevin James film. So that was my like biggest
Oh, okay. What film was it in? Do you know?
Becky.
All right. So you were able to place something on a film, which is great. I'm assuming that it was under a 20K placement.
Correct.
Okay. Was this through a sync company or was it through the producer?
It was another word of mouth thing. A friend came to me and said, "Hey, I heard of this opportunity. This is
Yeah.
perfect." And I sent an email and I got it.
Okay, cool. Well, you're in a good lucky stage where, someone, hey, I have an opportunity. I sent in a song. I got it. That's really great. All right. So if I could help you at all today, first of all, you have a great voice. So I think it's really easy for you to work in the sync world.
Yeah.
How can I help you at all?
It's a great question. I just saw
Okay.
that you posted and I was so eager. I just I just want to take action. And
Okay, what do you feel like you're missing? How about that? Like what if you're like, if I feel like if I had this, and it could be right or wrong, but just if I had this, I'd be more closer to what I'm looking for.
um I think probably just working with agencies. There was a
Okay.
time when I had thought, oh, I'll look at IMDb, I'll look at the music
Yeah.
supervisor, I'll track down their email, I'll do all this. And I've attended a lot of free workshops lately, and all of them have said that's not how to do it anymore.
Yeah, because there's just so many people getting emailed.
So I
Yeah.
don't know how to set myself apart in submitting to an agency. And I want to, I guess I also want your feedback on like, is that level of production good enough? Does it match what would be placed in a higher income, higher paying placement? What do you think?
My answer is no
Okay.
on that song in particular. But not saying that you couldn't have other songs. So did you produce? You said someone else produced this, right?
No, someone else produced this. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess let me ask you some questions. How many producers do you currently work with that can get a high quality song finished within a 48-hour turnaround?
Just the one.
Just one. Okay. And how often do you work with that person?
Every 6 months ish.
And do you have recording gear at home?
I mean, yeah, like I have a mic, I have a blue mic, I
Okay.
have a preamp, I have like the setup. I
Okay.
don't have Logic, I have GarageBand. It's definitely
Okay.
beyond my capacity to do more than a
Yeah.
demo to
Okay.
send to someone else.
Okay.
But I can record vocals here for sure.
Okay. Gotcha. Have you gotten in anything in the circle in Nashville, people who are working in sync music?
I know a lot of people working in publishing,
Yeah.
but not sync. I don't think there's been that crossover yet where friends of mine are
Okay.
working.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's
Do you have a job now?
no, I got laid off 2 weeks ago. So
Oh,
this
really?
is why I was like, okay, like heard I need to just start following my
Yeah.
thing and see where it goes.
What were you doing before?
I was in digital marketing. That was
Okay.
something I was gonna ask you if you know of like how to get into separately from licensing, how to get into a digital marketing position in the industry. I worked in a medical field and I hated it so, so much. I'm so glad that they laid me off. Like, I'm so glad it was such a gift.
Yeah.
But I promised myself that whatever I go into next, it has to be in a field that I love. Like
Yeah,
that.
something you're passionate about. Yeah.
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 Well, okay, let's focus on this first one and then we'll get to the other one because they're both very interesting. Okay. The advice I'm going to give you is based on the shortest way to get to something that is sustainable. Okay. The reason why I say that is because when I help people, I don't focus on trying to get a sync placement because what you've probably experienced now is that a sync placement is just that. It's a placement. You wait for your money to come in. Hopefully, people search your song, but they might not. Right. So it's not like it changes your life to get a sync placement. What changes your life is that have sustainability in a market, which many people are attempting to do, but very few actually can.
Okay.
That's where I try to help people in general. Okay.
Okay.
So to get to that, I'm going to give you the shortest way that I've seen. I guess I should ask you this question first for calibration. Are you looking to do this as to be able to sustain at least the majority of your living, or is this more of a hobby? Like, what is it? I
Oh my
guess
gosh,
for
I'd
you.
love for it to be my thing.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm a
Okay.
performer as well, but like, yeah, would
Gotcha.
love a
So
career. Yeah.
okay, so you want to go all in. This is how you're making a living. You're writing and recording all the time. This is your life. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, for you to be comfortable and to feel like, and I'm not saying like the biggest dream in the world, but for you to be comfortable and feel like you're making a full-time living from this, what number would you put around that? Like what monetary number would you put there?
I would love 50K net because
Okay.
there are enough other things I do,
Okay.
like whatever else I need. Yeah.
So 50K net in Nashville with taxes, what do you have to make in gross?
Oh my God, why can't I do math? Something like 60K.
Mhm.
It has to be a little over 60K.
Okay, cool. So let's just say 62,000 for now. All right, we'll just put it there. Um, all right. So to make $62,000 a year from the sync world would put you in, I would say, the 1%.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I would have to ask you, and while we're calibrating this thing, of what actions do you do on a daily basis puts you in the 1% of people within the industry? And the goal that you have will calibrate the more these are honest answers
Okay.
and not like hopes, but like honestly, what do you do for your business, right? And I think what I've noticed is that how I'm able to help people quickly get to their result is when they can quickly reflect honestly to themselves about what they're doing that's actually 1% versus what every musician is doing. Okay. So here are some of the things that I'll put into your table that are usually part of the 1% that I tend to notice across the board whenever I'm working with people who are in that $60,000 and up range. Most of them, if not all of them, can record their vocals at a high quality from home. So that'd be the first thing that I would say to you is let's move past GarageBand and let's move into the professional state of you being a person who can vocally produce yourself.
Okay.
That will take a few months of tutelage. So, take it as a learning experience and just like this is towards your goal and your investment towards the thing that you want to do to make that living. And just think of it like, if you're a chef, you're getting all of your toolkit together. You're buying the best pans, you got the best ingredients, but you're just getting your tool assets together. So that's the first thing. Second, most of them have at least 5 collaborators who are finishers, who are producers, who can finish a song within 48 hours. On average, it's 5. So we want to get that number that you have from 1 to 5. That would be our goal. The next thing is they have, and I should ask you this, how many songs do you have in your catalog now that you would say
6.
are, how many?
6. Yeah.
6. Okay. And last question, when you do these songs, do you collaborate lyric, melody, and writing with the person, or are you mostly the lyric and melody person?
I am. Yeah. He does the mix.
The music.
And yeah.
Gotcha. So you write the whole entire top line.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's the thing that I think will help you as well is writing with other writers who have a good deep understanding of how to write for sync and radio.
Yeah.
Okay. And the reason why I say that is because these songs are good and you have a really good voice. And so you also know a good melody. The one thing I'm missing is melodies I've never heard of before.
Sure. Okay.
Like a melody that I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like, where they come with like that? I'm missing that element of surprise uniqueness.
Yeah.
And the reason why I asked you if you work with anyone else is because if you're working with someone else who's also another top liner, they most likely will challenge you in that marketplace. Where someone who's most likely a producer is just happy that you're singing over songs.
Yeah.
And I've noticed that in general. What's going to say?
Something that I've found in Nashville is that everybody wants to co-write. You meet someone, it's the same thing as, do you want to get coffee? Do you want to co-write?
Yes.
Do you want to co-write? And I really only want to work with someone who's actually very serious. And I haven't connected with people who are in sync already. It's people who want to be in sync. Oh my gosh, I'm so eager. And that's amazing. And I love that. And I don't think that will challenge me. And I want to be challenged.
Yes. Okay. Well, I mean, let me throw this out there. Have you seen me post about the Billboard 500 Club?
Is that the membership?
Yeah. Have you seen me post about that?
I have. Yeah. I talked to someone. I talked to Tatiana, who's in that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I think, okay. So transparently, the thing for me is that like talking to a couple people who haven't had a lot of placements, like if I were to invest in something like the club, like I want to know that people are actively being placed, they have been placed, and that challenged me. So that's my thing with that.
That makes total sense. I mean, listen, I can only tell you this. The club isn't it's not like just a sync agency. The club is where you're mentored by hit songwriters and hit producers to learn how to write hits, not just for sync, for worldwide level of thought. There's 143 people in the club worldwide. What I recommend, the only reason I'm saying this is because the things that I'm mentioning, if you were in the club, some of the information I'm talking about, you'd be like, oh, I need to challenge my melodies more. I need a lyric that people can grab onto more. Like you would start to learn these things because we have a thing called a gym where we go and we learn these things and we practice them all together. It's very much like a elite level of people who are growing from all around the world who know how to make hit songs from home. Like all the stuff we're talking about, production from home, people are learning it right now. And there's some amazing talent. Like people are signing publishing deals, they're signing admin deals. There's over 300 signed sync contracts from people in the club. It's a legitimate thing that I would highly recommend looking into.
Okay.
If you're looking for that push you talked about.
Yeah.
Okay. But that being said, here's what I'd recommend. If you're looking for sustainable, you said $60,000 in theory. And I want to do quick math with you because I notice a lot of people don't go through this route. But if you have one collaborator, let's say, helping you with writing and one collaborator who's doing producing, that's 3 people on a song. And most of the time, if you're going through sync world, you've been in a very lucky experience where someone just said, hey, here's an opportunity, and it worked.
Right.
But that's, if you look at the majority of sustainability, you're going to get most of your jobs from being with companies who are actively searching for you on your behalf. Most of those companies take between 30 and 50% of the placement.
Yeah.
So let's say on average, and let's do some quick math just so we can really put things in perspective to get you to your goal. If you work on a song and an average TV show, if you're on a sync company or a publisher, let's say it's $20,000. So you have $20,000 for a placement. And let's take off half. So we're at $10,000 because of the placement. And then you divide that by 3. Now we're at 3,300 roughly because you're taking taxes. So let's say 33, but take away taxes, you have $3,000.
Yeah.
So you made $3,000 off of a $20,000 placement.
Yeah.
Which means in order to get you into $60,000, which means you need 20 placements like that a year on average, which means you have to have companies doing this for you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's going to take some building.
Yeah. No, which is it's going to take building. But all I'm saying is that if you're aware of what it is that you're trying to hit, it's less about how you feel. It's more of like, oh, okay, I need to get 20 songs of this placed. If I'm getting 20 songs of this placed, and maybe some will be even bigger, how big does my catalog need to be? And that's where I was trying to get into those numbers of how big your catalog needs to be. So to get to the number of what you're saying, and even if let's say you got it in 2 or 3 years, it doesn't have to happen tomorrow. But if you're like, if you're trying to like do this tomorrow, like go all in, it's up to you and how fast you want to move at your speed. But what I tend to notice is that out of every 40 songs that you create, you're going to have you heard of like Pareto's law of 80-20 rule?
Yes.
Okay. That's what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
There's going to be a small set of your songs that are going to pay for all the time you spent doing the other ones.
Yeah.
So what I try to explain to someone is if you can get 50 songs that are highly commercial, and when I say commercial, meaning it could be dark music, it could be K-pop, it could be hip, whatever it is that your genre is, but it sounds like when you hear it, you go, oh, this sounds just as good as what's on the radio. Or this sounds just as good as what I hear on editorial playlists on Spotify. If all of your songs are in that category, you're going to have a career. What tends to happen is people have really good songs that would never be selected for the top Spotify playlist, but they're good because it's a good song.
Mm-hmm.
Those songs don't sustain a living in the sync world anymore. It used to like 8 years ago, but now the competition is too big because all the major labels and publishers are now pitching to all the sync opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you're now competing with Alessia Cara, and you're now competing with Ellie Goulding. That's your competition for sync. So the reason why I say that is because if your songs are as good, then people are willing to pay you because they have to deal with less drama.
Sure.
And that's what they all want. All the sync companies want to have an artist that they go, our artist is just as good as so-and-so, but they can sign a one-stop agreement for the song through us. Where if you have to go to get Ellie Goulding, you have to sign all the writers, all 5 writers, all the producers have to sign off, and the publisher is going to try and negotiate, which is going to be a lot of hassle for us. We'd rather give $20,000 to Hannah. Like that's how that side of the business works. So if I was in your shoes, I'd probably have to find a collaboration team. And that's where it goes back to those 5 producers that you can be working with. So you set up a session on Monday with someone on Thursday with someone else. And then next week, it's a different person on Monday. Next week, it's a different person on Thursday. And you're just making the music that you love and creating it with high quality turnarounds. By the end of the year, if you're doing 1 or 2 songs a week, even if it's 1 song a week, you have your catalog of 50. And that catalog of 50 or more now is the thing that you can really use to sustain a living that you're talking about. You most likely want to do that for about 5 years. After 5 years, you can kind of hold back and take a break. But
Sure.
you do it for 5 years, because then you roughly have around 250 songs that are in the marketplace and they're really strong. So out of that 250, you have that 20% that is maintaining your lifestyle from then on out. And some songs might turn on hit songs on the radio. Some songs might be picked up by bigger artists. Some songs are going to launch your career. You never kind of know. But what I tend to notice is that it takes 5 years to become sustainable and to build that big of a catalog. And most people will not do that. And so that goes back to the thing I was saying about the 1%.
Yeah.
Out of the majority of people who I talk to, it is, when I say rare, I'm talking about I might have met, and what I mean, this is outside of the club, because most people in the club are serious. I'm talking about outside the club, people who I've talked to, maybe 4 of them have been able to say, and I'm talking about out of 1,500 consultations, maybe 4 of them have been able to say, okay, I'm willing to do this kind of work at this pace for the next 5 years to get the goal that I say I really want for my life for the future. Most people hear amount of work and then they realize how much it entails. And then they just go back to, well, maybe I'll just do sync on the side. And they realize it's actually harder to do that just on the side.
Sure.
Cool. So those are the main things. If you do those things, you'll see something happen.
Awesome. I appreciate your time so much. Thank you
Awesome.
so much. I really appreciate
You're
you.
welcome. You're welcome, Hannah. Take care. Bye.
Bye.